I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world.
Hey, what's going on? This is Icon once again. Just saying, going over that WWE No Mercy review. Just going to quickly go over the pre-show and then go through all the matches, so let's get started. Actually, quick note before we get started, I have to point out, during the kickoff show, they said that Becky Lynch apparently has a injury unrelated to in-ring competition. From what I hear, maybe, I believe it's a neck injury that she has, from what I'm hearing. So she will not be competing tonight against Alexa Bliss, who's the #1 contender. Instead, Alexa Bliss then goes into Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan's office, in which they let her know that although she won't be fighting for the title tonight, she's still the #1 contender, after Alexa Bliss asked them to hand her the championship, which they weren't going to do. So now we're going to, Alexa Bliss is still going to be in competition, she's still going to have a match, and the opponent for her will be chosen by Shane and Daniel Bryan. Now, to me, this was a no-brainer, because with Nikki in a match tonight, with Becky injured to compete, there's only one face left on the brand. So that's pretty much how that goes. They also announced that the WWE World Heavyweight Championship title match is actually going to open the show. This was kind of surprising, because I figured if the WWE Championship match is gonna open the show, that makes the winner obvious. But then I also figured we would get the Dolph Ziggler Miz match for the Intercontinental Championship versus Career. We would get that last. That wasn't the case either, but again, we'll get into that. But on the kickoff now, the Jack Swagger Baron Corbin match, which is originally booked for the kickoff, has been bumped now to the actual pay-per-view. So for the kickoff, we get once again 8-man tag action for the 15th time between the Vaudevillains and the Ascension versus the Hype Bros and American Alpha. So this match kicks off on the kickoff. Let's see where it goes. And no surprise here, the face team ends up picking up the victory over the heel team. And you gotta think at this point, they're basically just buying time for American Alpha. Because American Alpha came in, red hot. They were the darling tag team of NXT. Everybody pretty much thought that once they got brought on, they were just going to automatically be handed the belts. I actually like the fact that that didn't happen, because I hate when things are so completely obvious. You see it coming a mile away. So I'm actually glad that they're dragging this out with American Alpha, making us wait, not giving it to us right away. And this way, when they finally do win the championship, we'll be happier. And we'll actually be surprised instead of now when we all see it coming. And I even hope when they finally do get a championship title match, they lose their first outing too, just to drag it on a little bit longer and make it interesting. But yeah, the face team gets the victory here, and let's move right on to the actual show. Alright, so to start the match, again, like I said, we do have the WWE Heavyweight Championship match, Cena versus Styles versus Ambrose. And there was that magical moment during the match where Styles got put in a double submission. And with the double submission, again, this match was stated to be one pinfall to a finish. This is not an elimination match. So Styles tapping out is actually irrelevant, because you can't disqualify Styles and just have these two go at it. So definitely great call by the referee, restarting the match. I mean, the fact that the bell rung and the referee even signaled for it is kind of silly, because you can't have one guy tap out the two people unless the match has been stated to be an elimination match. So again, no need for Bryan or Shane McMahon to come out. The referee makes the right call, and the match ends up getting restarted. And because the match was restarted, this gives AJ Styles a chance to gather his bearings and also gather a chair, use it against Cena, to put him out of commission, and then he can proceed to pick up the victory. And there you have it. AJ Styles retains the WWE Heavyweight Championship. They still don't want none. Put some respect on that, Styles. Now, after weeks and weeks and days and weeks and weeks and days of taking a savage beating at the hands of Carmella, finally we get the one-on-one matchup between Carmella and Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella coming out dressed up in her feminine version of John Cena gear. And, it's also interesting to note that both Nikki Bella and John Cena's matches were the first two matches on the card. Both of them never showed up again for the rest of the night. No interviews, no anything. So that leads you to believe that maybe Nikki and Cena had some promotion to do. Maybe they had to go promote Total Bellas. Maybe they had to do some promotion somewhere else, a different party, different state, different country. But nevertheless, once these two matches ended, both of them were out of there. But again, but it was definitely nice it was definitely nice to see Nikki Bella, you know, again, finally get her hands on Carmella. You know, she gets put in the code of silence, you know, by Carmella, and we've seen Nikki tap out to this over and over and over again. You know, and the whole point of the move being put on is to add pressure to that surgically repaired neck, and that was, you know, that was the target for Carmella this whole time, thinking that by doing that she's attacking the weak spot. But unfortunately, this wasn't the day for the young lion. She'll have to come back. You know, the elder lion, I guess we could say. Nikki Bella finally, after months and months of being viciously attacked at every corner, at every turn, Nikki finally gets the victory over Carmella. And I hope this feud isn't over. You know, it was just one match. You know, it was just one match. I hope to see Carmella come back, you know, get some revenge, and then the two of them have one final match maybe at the TLC pay-per-view and settle their differences once and for all. So, still on the Carmella bandwagon. Nikki has actually won me over by being the victim in this entire feud, so I'm all for it, and I wouldn't mind seeing them go at it a couple more times. WWE World Tag Team Silver Dollar Championship match with Rhino and Heath Slater versus the Newsos, not the Usos, the Newsos. They got the new gear, they got the new attitude, they got the new fighting style, and they are your number one contenders going against Heath Slater and Rhino. Now, a lot of people figured that the Usos were going to win this match and then have the belts taken from them from American Alpha, but that wasn't the case. Off the Gore, Heath Slater and Rhino, you know, retain the titles, and those were my picks because they just won the belts. You know, Heath Slater and Rhino, they're actually over as a tag team, and there's no rush to put the titles on American Alpha, so let's drag this out a little bit more. I mean, I don't know where, well, at this point now, maybe Slater and Rhino can start a feud with the Vaudevillains, maybe they can start a feud with Breezango, but the Usos shouldn't still be in the title picture after this. It should be over for the Usos for a little while. But you know, but we all know this full circle. We all know like the end game for this entire situation is Usos versus American Alpha for those titles. But until then, you know, let Slater and Rhino rock a little bit longer. Like I said, Vaudevillains, Breezango, let one of them step up, and then, you know, let's keep this tag team division rolling because I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing here on the SmackDown brand. After the controversial finish on SmackDown with Jack Swagger picking up the victory, we now have the rematch between Jack Swagger and Baron Corbin. Good match by both guys. You know, I'm happy to see Jack Swagger on the SmackDown brand because he's finally getting a chance to showcase what the hell he can do. You know, he's a big dude. He's an athletic. I mean, both of these guys are big. You know, they're both like over 6 feet tall. So it's nice to watch the two of them work and pound the crap out of each other. But off the Ric Flair thumb to the eye, Baron Corbin ends up getting Jack Swagger up for end of days. You know, he puts he puts Jack Swagger down, and Baron Corbin picks up the victory and ties the unofficial series between him and Swagger at one match apiece. So you got to think maybe on next SmackDown Live we get this match one more time for all the marbles. But the match was definitely good. No complaints here. You know, makes you wonder what happened to Apollo Crews. Haven't seen him in a while, but. You know, can't complain. Good wrestling being put on here on the SmackDown brand. So one more match between Swagger and Corbin, definitely okay with that. I'm surprised where this match was placed on the card because I honestly thought it was going to close the show. But you know, we ended up getting it like semi-middle towards the end. Ziggler versus Miz, you know, emotional match. The crowd was definitely into it. You know, everybody was on their seat wondering if Ziggler's career was going to be over. You know, the Miz tried everything in the book. He brought back out the Spirit Squad to cause a distraction, which didn't work. Maurice, for the 19th time, ended up spraying Dolph Ziggler in the face with her perfume. I mean, they threw everything but the kitchen sink at Dolph Ziggler just to put him out of his misery and keep him from winning the Intercontinental Championship and trying to end his career. There was a moment during the match where Ziggler's boot came off. And he ended up doing the rest of the match pretty much barefoot off one foot. Maurice and the squad end up getting tossed by the referee through all the cheating, which catches the Miz off guard. He gets blindsided by Ziggler, and Dolphy Z keeps his job and becomes your new Intercontinental Champion. Now on Talking Smack, Dolph Ziggler was on Talking Smack talking to Shane, you know, talking to Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan did apologize to him. He did say to him that, you know, Dolph Ziggler tears the house down every single night. And which Ziggler replied, well, if I'm tearing the house down every single night, when we negotiate my contract, I should, you know, have some main events in my future with the Intercontinental Championship. And Daniel Bryan apologized. He said he did apologize for not making them the main event. which isn't really Daniel Bryan's decision. That's more of a wink for Daniel Bryan to tell the person who made the decision that they messed up by not making this the main event. But hey, it is what it is, you know. Got to put some respect on that Dolph Ziggler, you know, Intercontinental Champion. You know, he looks like, you know, Mr. Perfect, Billy Gunn, and Shawn Michaels combined. You know, so the boy's got talent, you know, but let's see what he does with it now. Glow time. It looks like after Alexa Bliss lobbied to have the Women's Championship handed to her, she, you know, because Becky was unable to compete, instead, you know, she gets her title match at a later date on SmackDown Live, but she still has to compete, and then here comes Naomi, which made me happy. I mean, one, she was the only face left on the brand because Becky was hurt and Nikki already had a fight. And I've been loving the performances that Naomi's been putting on. You know, she's been wowing the crowd, she's been showing off her athleticism, she's been showing off her skill, and the girl deserves a chance to shine, you know, no pun intended. She deserves a shot at the Women's Championship, and by having her face the #1 contender on the pay-per-view, I think is a good idea. So we get Naomi versus Alexa Bliss, and you know, I'm all for it. You know, I was definitely looking forward to this match when it came on. After putting the armbar on Naomi was actually able to counter that, roll it up, and what I like about it, after she got the pin, she rolls out and walks off like a G. Doesn't even turn around. You know, the look at Alexa Bliss, just rolled her up, pinned her, and was just like, peace. You know, you know, she played up the injury. Well, I hope she was playing up the injury and that she wasn't actually hurt. You know, she played up the arm injury, and Naomi gets the win. So you got to think now, because she pinned the #1 contender, that maybe there's a championship match in her future, which will be awesome, because if Becky is actually hurt and they make the match a triple threat match, and you know, and Becky has like a limited role within that triple threat match and then loses the title because she needs to take time off of the neck injury, I'm fine with that. And you know, I'd be cool if either Alexa Bliss or Naomi won the championship, but only because Naomi's been there longer. I'd rather see Naomi with the title and have Alexa Bliss be the chaser. Because, you know, it's kind of a slap in the face to have the new girl win over the girl that's put in the work and put in the time. But both girls definitely deserve that spot, so we'll see where it goes from here. And finally, in the main event, young Randall Orton versus Bray Wyatt. Finally, the two of them get their hands on each other. You know, they and it was you know, it wasn't as aggressive as I thought it was going to be in the beginning, because these two have been having all these psychic battles going back and forth. I thought that once the bell rung, they were going to beat the snot out of each other. It did turn into more of a wrestling match, you know, like towards the end. And Bray Wyatt's taken so many losses, like over the past, you know, like who knows how long. You know, you had to think that, well, because he did the JOB to Brock Lesnar, Orton was going to win here. But no, it looks like we have a returning Luke Harper who comes back off the distraction, which I did say in my prediction when I did my predictions for the pay-per-view. In my predictions, I did say that the Wyatt boys would come back, and off the distraction from Luke Harper, Bray Wyatt, for the first time in I don't know how long, finally picks up a damn win over Randy Orton. And you know, and I'm okay with that. You know, with the exception of the Heath Slater victory. And actually, you know, I think Orton even lost to Heath Slater by countout. Like, Orton himself, like, both guys have been taking some L's. You know, Orton took the loss to Lesnar twice, because there was also that house show where they had the rematch. He took a countout loss to, you know, or disqualification loss to Heath Slater, I forget. And then he loses to Bray Wyatt here. You know, Bray Wyatt's been taking countless loss after loss after loss, so one guy had to win eventually. But having Orton take the loss because Luke Harper returned gives Orton a reason to want to have a rematch. So I'm fine with that. You know, we get Bray Wyatt. You know, we didn't get Bray Wyatt versus Orton the way we should have in the Backlash pay-per-view. So to get it now for No Mercy, and then maybe getting it again at Survivor Series or TLC, you know, that's fine. You know, I'm fine with that. The whole show for No Mercy tonight was pretty much continuing feuds. Everybody got their first win, and everybody got their first win, and now we're going to get a rematch, or certain people are going to finish their feuds. Like, this is like the whole show was basically continuing feuds that already exist. And because we're getting good matches on the SmackDown brand, that's good. You know, like that's good for business. Like, that's never a bad thing. So overall, I would give the No Mercy pay-per-view an 8.5. You know, it was a good, solid show with a lot of good wrestling. The Becky Lynch thing was unfortunate, but that didn't take away from the show, because we got a good match between her and you know, between Alexa Bliss and Naomi. So yeah, definitely solid 8 for the No Mercy pay-per-view. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. You know, hope you enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed it. Can't wait for SmackDown Live in the next one. This is Icon just saying, keep it locked, and we'll see you soon.